Dear friend, I'm no Superman. Far from it, in fact. I've never considered myself an inherently exceptional individual. I wasn't born with some otherworldly superpower. I didn't specialize early in life or pigeonhole myself into an artistic identity soon enough to earn a reputation as a technical genius, a graceful dancer phenomenon, a totally hardcore stage manager boss. All I knew was a profound love for storytelling.
People are dying.
There's a thing I do in therapy.
Oh, that thing?
Yes, that one.
Oh, no, I was thinking about a different thing.
Well, that's the one I meant. Do you know it?
I don't. It could help to pass the time.
Doubtful to be quite frank.
Here goes. Things you never told me?
Absolutely nothing.
Come on.
Okay. I'm frightened of my own belly button.
Very well. I read books at my son's baseball games.
I spy through the vents on my kids' play dates.
I have vivid daydreams involving arson.
I do my kids' homework for them.
I'm not cut out for the
My
PTA.
bake sale cupcakes were just
My bake sale
involved.
brownies were store
I wouldn't mind if my kids never showed up.
I still sleep with a light on.
I think kids with peanut allergies should just get over themselves.
I'm allergic to cats.
I know you want your kids.
My kids aren't even at Disney World with me.
I buy cheap wine and take off the labels when I go to dinner parties.
I'm not even allowed to be on roller coasters.
Most of the time, I don't even understand what you and I are talking
My
about.
resume says I speak 3 languages.
I'm in love with my therapist.
I don't speak 3 languages.
Sometimes I want to kill
I might
myself.
move to Montana.
I feel like I've been waiting in this line for an
I
really
feel
long
like
time.
I've been here before.
I feel like I'll beat her again
I feel like
tomorrow.
Dumbo isn't even the point anymore.
I feel like my life is absurd.
I feel like the whole point of waiting in this line that mysteriously seems like it never moves is to hold on to the hope that when it does finally move, it will lead us to something greater. And yet we are merely fooling ourselves because deep down we suspect that the line isn't actually moving at all and we will never get to that greater thing that lies at the non-existent end. And in fact, the only substantial experience we'll ever face is that of waiting, because life inherently has no meaning. But we choose to give it meaning by waiting because we'd all go crazy if we accepted the absurd and random nature of it all, which means waiting is in itself the meaning of life, rather than the destination or something my therapist, whom I definitely made up as a tool to substitute for the role played by religion, in a parallel life, lived by a parallel person who also spent a lot of time waiting, said to me one time, and at the end of the day, we will never get on the Dumbo ride, but we'll choose to wait in line forever anyways, and wait until one day we die, having never experienced the experience of Dumbo the Flying Elephant!
Estelle's stomach grumbles.
Well, that ultimately did very little to pass the time.
Dear friend, I'm no Superman, but I'm a part of something exceptional. And when such an exceptional community encourages me not only to tell others' stories, but to create my own as well, who am I to doubt them? Waiting for Dumbo was my first original work that was staged for an audience. The reception to it, as well as the overwhelming reaction that I felt while watching it come to life, reaffirmed that I needed to do more of this. And that was a turning point. I'm an actor, and I'm a writer.
Do you ever think of yourself as actually dead, lying in a box with the lid on it? Or do I, really? It's silly to be depressed by it. I mean, one thinks of it like being alive in a box. One forgets to take into account the fact that one is actually dead. Which should make a difference, shouldn't it? Not that you would know you were in a box, now would you? I mean, it would be just like being asleep in a box. Not that I'd like to sleep in a box, mind you, not without any air. You'd wake up dead, for starters, and then where would you be? Aside from in a box. If I were to ask you, straight off, I'm going to stuff you into this box now. Would you rather be alive or dead? Naturally, you'd prefer to be alive. Life in a box is better than no life at all. I expect. I wouldn't think about it if I were you. you'd only get depressed.
Dear friend, you terrify me sometimes. Really, you do. Performing a role someone else created for me is one thing. Writing a silly, absurdist parody of my favorite Beckett play is another thing. But writing a deeply personal story, embodying it, and taking the initiative to produce it for the people that I care about, that's another thing entirely. And it is the kind of transformative and definitive moment as an artist that I experienced with my first full-length play, Exit 7. This play is not about me, but it has a lot of me in it. I spent all of 2020 writing it, and then I produced a version of it here at Furman with dear friends whom I greatly respect as artists. This process gave me permission to be my own artist, have my own style, and ultimately have agency over the stories that I tell. And now that I have tasted this kind of artistic freedom, I am utterly hooked.
Okay, I'm all nervous now. I know it's only been 7 weeks, and I think some people would probably say it isn't possible in 7 weeks, but I love you. No, I'm rushing things. I'm rushing things. I should not have said that so soon. And obviously you're not ready to say that to me yet. Even though you seem like a person who's really in touch with your feelings because you like recycling and hybrid cars or whatever. But those things are not the same as love, and I probably shouldn't have equated them in my mind. And now you're thinking like, oh no, she's freaking out. My girlfriend is freaking out, but I am not freaking out. Okay, I'm freaking out a little bit, I can't deny that, but I am not majorly freaking out because I believe in giving you space to arrive at the same place I'm at. You're like a sloth. You are slowly climbing up the tree, and I am like a squirrel, and I have raced to the top of the tree, and I am just like partying and jumping up and down, saying like, get up the tree, get up the tree, but you can't race up the tree because you're a sloth. You're not a squirrel, and sloths can't run. So you're eating. You're munching on like saplings or whatever, and because you're a sloth, it's not like I can run down the tree, pick you up, and carry you to the top of the tree because you'd crush me. I'd be dead. I'd be a dead squirrel and you wouldn't even notice because you've got sloth hair in your eyes. Should I shut up? I should shut up. Are we in trouble?
Dear friend, I'm no Superman, but I'm smart, I'm flexible, and I am a little more impulsive ever since living through a pandemic. This last year has truly altered my mindset about the value of using my limited time to its fullest extent. So here goes. Time to adapt the tools that I already have and apply them to the film and television industries. Acting and writing, though they differ in form, subtlety, technicality between stage and screen mediums, require the same approaches at their core. So that's my latest project. Identifying the areas where my knowledge is lacking, and then teaching myself what I need to know to make that leap to another storytelling format. If you haven't already picked up on it, I am a giant dork for the TV show Scrubs by Bill Lawrence. I've been quoting its theme song throughout this entire presentation, but the show continually inspires me, lights a creative fire in me, reminds me of the importance of doing thorough dramaturgy, and shows me that storytelling tropes that are usually used in live theater can actually work effectively and humorously on the screen. So, I've written a speculative script for Scrubs to create a somewhat eclectic mashup of my abilities to accept and adhere to a prescribed style, as well as to develop my own creative content within those boundaries.
We have a trio of problems happening in the gang's lives that, if we stretch it a little, and we will, all thematically relate. 1. A patient keeps losing his limbs, and Turk's repeated attempts to stitch them back together are ineffective. The Todd saves the day by offering some of his vast banana hammock collection to use as slings. 2. Elliot has 24 hours to accept a guest lecturer slap, but she lost her voice and can't talk over the phone. She frantically drives to accept the job in person before the deadline, delayed by an unavoidable accident and her own clumsiness. Luckily, Dr. Cox stalls the man on the phone for an hour with one of his really long iconic rants. 3. The janitor is a laughingstock after losing recent janitor closet poker games, so he's extra nasty to JD and his patients. JD, apparently now a poker genius, joins one night to throw the game in the janitor's favor, but does too well and wins. The custodians decide he cheated and take all his money. P.S. JD is dating the 5th surprisingly stunning woman this season, given his average looks and dorky demeanor. At the end of the day, a small gesture from someone who cares can go a long way. Whether you're mysteriously losing your limbs and the doctors don't know why, you're running out of time to make a life-changing decision, or you can't seem to catch a break in the staff poker games, maybe all we really need is someone to lend a hand.
Dear friend, I can't do this all on my own. Because, you guessed it, I'm no Superman. None of us can be experts in everything, and I'm thrilled to fully invest myself in the specific artistic identity that I've finally curated. But guess what? I studied theater arts in a holistic program, and as I reflect back on my artistic journey up to this point, I realized that I actually can do a whole lot of it on my own. The beauty is that I just don't have to, thanks to the community of other artists on whom I can rely. For my final original piece, I've prepared the cold open to the original sitcom pilot I'm developing called Fates.
Welcome to Crete, Nebraska. Crete, Nebraska, that is. Population 7,294. Well, I guess if you're getting real specific with it, I'm talking about the high school in Crete, Nebraska. Anyway, I'm gonna start over. Do you mind? Not at all. Please. Welcome to Crete. Nothing ever happens around here that we didn't make happen. We run this place. We are the make or break of your social career. Doesn't matter if you're a god on the court or a mere mortal dweeb. Who says dweeb? We decide who succeeds, who fails, who deserves to be rewarded, or needs to learn their lesson. Say something about love. Who falls in love, whose heart gets broken. You get the gist. Who lives or dies in this school. It's all up to the three of us. We call ourselves the Fates, and yours are in our hands.
Really?
Nailed it. I've got goosebumps.
Don't you feel like that last part was just, like, a little on the nose?
I liked it. Real dramatic. Check it out, guys. You can actually see the goosebumps. Thanks, Chloe.
Of course. Stick up for Posey, like always.
I'm just saying. Touch my arm, guys. Hey! I'm keeping it. Just a little something I whipped up. You guys have anything better? I bet that'd give anyone the shivers.
I'll take you up on that. Your bet. Wanna bet?
No, thanks. Okay, ladies. We've got some meddling to do. Whose life shall we ruin first?
Dear friend, this has been my love letter to you. I can't thank you enough for changing my life. With you by my side, I am more confident, I'm inspired, I'm the truest version of myself, and I will never be alone again. But your impact extends far beyond me. I'm alive with excitement for what's to come. Whatever that'll be, I can't wait. I am an actor, I am a writer. I'm no Superman, but together we will tell incredible stories. I'm forever grateful and forever in your debt. I'm out walking, further than I've walked in months, and the whole world is cold and white. But the cold feels kind of good on my face. and I feel warm in my coat, so I keep walking, all the way from my apartment to downtown Minneapolis, until my feet get cold and wet with sweat, so I duck into a trailblazer looking for some boots. Now, all the snow boots in all the world are sold out online because people are freaking out about the polar vortex or whatever, so I'm not particularly hopeful. But there's a man there, holding a box of insoles, and he says they have one pair left. Sorrels. What size are you? I'm size 7. Oh, shoot. These are 6s. But I try them on anyway. And they fit. Sorrels run big, I tell him. His name is Eric. And Eric calls me the luckiest girl in all of Minneapolis. And I walk home hugging those boots to my chest. And I get into my apartment, and I put on my boots, and I start to feel something that I haven't felt in a while. In a long while. What is this feeling? Happiness? For no reason at all. Just happiness. Just standing in my living room, wearing boots, just full of happiness. For no reason. Just standing in my boots, all alone.